All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers in tonight's video. We got some drama brewing, and by drama brewing, I mean Russell Wilson's just banged up, and Justin Fields is really impressing the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff. We heard from an NFL insider earlier today that Russell Wilson versus Justin Fields, more of a coin flip than most think. While I don't think it's necessarily a 50-50 chance that Justin Fields surpasses Russell Wilson or Russell Wilson surpasses Justin Fields, although I should reword that because Russell Wilson is the favorite. He is the starter, according to Mike Tomlin. The thing is, the one thing stopping Russell Wilson from being the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers this upcoming season is if he's injured or if he loses his job because he's injured in training camp. So we're going to be breaking down. I want to talk about training camp. Some guys, rookies specifically, Roman Wilson, Peyton Wilson. I do want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers training camp and some takeaways from the first week or half the first week, whatever. But I do want to talk about this quarterback rumor drama, blah, 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 before we do. So welcome back. Obviously, we're talking Pittsburgh in today's video. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. We're trying to end the month on a strong suit. My Steelers videos just aren't performing too well. So if we try and get this video to 500 freaking likes, that would mean seriously the absolute world to me. All right, so let's get into this report here. The Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback battle between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields may not be as clear-cut as many expect, according to ESPN's Dan Graziano, and he has said this quote: "It's easy to listen to the chatter around this situation and just assume Russell Wilson has it all suited up, but after visiting Steelers camp and talking to people there, I'm not so sure," and he reported this Monday. "It's a lot more of a coin flip than most think, and I believe that part of the reason the Steelers have set Wilson up as the leader in the competition is because they believe that's the best way to manage him. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Fields will show enough through camp to catch him and claim the week 1 starting spot." Wow, I did not know that Graziano said he thinks Justin Fields will be the starter. Graziano added that Wilson looked better in OTAs and minicamp, but Fields has the chance to surpass him in practice due to a calf injury, because Russell Wilson's held out for a calf injury. So this is no big deal to me. Here's the thing, I'm from Chicagoland area, so I've watched Justin Fields play football way too much in the last couple of years because the Bears have just been underperforming. I love Justin Fields' potential as a starting quarterback on Pittsburgh or any team in the NFL for that matter. What does concern me is his ball security, his deep ball. I do worry with Justin Fields, specifically with the fumbles, but he's an athlete. He's a freak athlete. Like, this is one of the best rushing QBs in the league. But Russell Wilson, I do think, has at least one good season left. 35 years old. Last year, he played pretty freaking good. Over 3,000 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. He was no longer prime time, like prime Russell Wilson, but he can still get the job done. And so what Russell Wilson provides me is a little bit more reliability, all right? Justin Fields has a higher potential, clearly, and I actually do hope he's the long-term starter in Pittsburgh. But he just concerns me because I'm trying to win a playoff game. Now, he's heading into year 4. He's only completed 61.4% of his passes, and he's only averaged 197.1 yards per game. But he can run the football. Last year, 657 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, and like it was almost double that number 2 years ago. So the reason I'm just mentioning this is it's just a good problem to have. You know, I think it should, and I hope it's going to be Russell Wilson, but if it's not and it's Justin Fields, I'm A-okay with that. In fact, it would be a little bit more exciting than Russell Wilson. But this team is a playoff team, and there's just so much talent on that defense. There's too much talent with George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth, this offensive line. There's so many new youngsters coming in here. I wouldn't be upset if Justin Fields is the future franchise quarterback for Pittsburgh. But we'll keep guys updated on this. The good news is competition brings the best out of everybody. However, I do think once Russ comes back healthy, I do think he's going to win that job. So now we're going to move forward because I was reading an article on PennLive.com from Nick Farabaugh. He's my favorite guy on Twitter. He's my favorite Steelers reporter. And he was just going through some observations he had at training camp from this past weekend. And the good news is these rookies are performing. Troy Fautanu apparently had a phenomenal day against TJ Watt. Peyton Wilson is impressing everybody. Roman Wilson's getting first team reps. All 3 of those players are getting first team reps. The only guy who isn't is center Zach Frazier, but it kind of feels like that is going to come really soon Nate Herbig has been center for the entire practice with the first team. Nick kind of alluded to that could be about chemistry with Justin Fields, but Zach Frazier, the hope is that he's going to be the starting center, but it is interesting. I know I keep getting a lot of comments anytime I mention that Nate Herbig's getting starting center snaps, but I do think that'll change eventually. Good news is these rookies are ready to play, and they're being eased into starting roles right here, right now. And my most excited player is going to be Roman Wilson. So 4 practices, he was apparently the big winner in day 3. I can't remember if that was Friday or Saturday, but apparently he's had a phenomenal camp. But this is extremely important because he's a rookie. And you have superstar or soon to be superstar. You have cemented star wide receiver in George Pickens. Roman Wilson needs to give me 600 to 800 receiving yards this upcoming season just to negate for the fact that Deontay Johnson's over in Carolina. And while we're on the topic, apparently Dante Jackson is doing great for Pittsburgh. And apparently, I'm sure you guys have seen all the drops Deontay Johnson's having in Panthers camp right now. I keep seeing that they're going to trade him away for a bag of chips. So looks, as of right now, a good trade for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they still need somebody to step up. And it appears like it's going to be a combination of tight end Pat Freiermuth, running back Jaylen Warren, and his phenomenal receiving abilities. And then you have hopefully Van Jefferson. The bad news is I was so hopeful for Calvin Austin the entire last season. We all were so excited about Calvin Austin. And then Calvin has this phenomenal spring, but unfortunately, it's just not translating to summer. So we have this excerpt here from Nick Faribault. Roman Wilson has performed well through 4 practices, but I'm still not convinced by the Steelers' wide receiver. George Pickens is who he is, and they'll get good play out of him. But outside of those 2, it's a roller coaster ride. Calvin Austin III has not translated over his excellent spring. Meanwhile, the rest of the depth chart seems fine for depth pieces, but there is no wide receiver or obvious wide receiver number 2 on the roster. The Steelers are putting a lot of trust into Van Jefferson and Wilson to step up in these places. So that's why I kind of threw in, Pat Freiermuth being kind of wide receiver number 2 in Arthur Smith's dual tight end system. He just loves tight ends. And that's why I'm throwing in. I am hopeful for Van Jefferson, but Jaylen Warren's a phenomenal pass catcher and he's going to just be a beast. I really wouldn't be surprised if Jaylen Warren turned into one of the most dynamic, versatile running backs in the NFL this upcoming season, considering Pittsburgh did not pick up Najee Harris's 5th-year option. And then finally, I did want to talk a little bit about Peyton Wilson, but we'll just keep it brief because we're running out of time here. Peyton Wilson shining, folks. All right, this doesn't come as a surprise to anybody watching this video, I'm sure, but I'm so excited to hear that. That's all we have for today. I'll keep you guys updated on camp throughout this upcoming week. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Seriously, if guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, we are desperate. We're desperate. So thank you guys. Let me know which rookie are you most excited to see in preseason game number 1 that is soon, less than 2 weeks away. Thank you for watching. Have a great one. We'll see